Hello and welcome to video number 9 in the Farnsworth house. Today we're going to create some mullions, okay? So if I jump back into my perspective, you'll notice I've turned everything else on. All right, and you'll also remember that these points that we created ended up on the top curve, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're up there or down there. The reason they're on the top curve is I selected a curve and it snapped to that one. And now when we extrude curves to create the mullions, we're going to end up basically extruding them down as opposed to up. It's not a big deal. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my layers and I'm going to just start clicking on these guys and hiding some of these things. Okay, that can hide. And that's about all I need to hide for the moment. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into our perspective. Take a look at what these things look like. All right. They're pretty simple, right? Doesn't look like there's much to them. And like I said, I'm just going to go pretty darn quick. I think just a simple square, maybe. And I think a square is a great reason, or a great shape, because we won't have to fret too much about orientation. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go to my top view. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and go up here and create a rectangle from the center, right? And I'm going to snap onto this point. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down Shift. And when I do that, it's going to allow me to create a perfect square. Click, just like that. All right. And now what I'm going to do is I go into my perspective and zoom out. You'll notice that this little guy, we zoom right in there. There's that square. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to run an extrude curve. Let's go ahead and make I'm in the middle of a command. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new layer. Call this one mullions. Mullions. All right, and now with that layer active, I'm going to select my curve. And I'm going to remove my gumball just for a second, just so you can see it. All right. And I'm going to type in extrude curve, just like that, and I'm going to start dragging it down. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into my perspective, and I'm going to zoom into my front view, and I'm just going to drag. You notice I can see, I'm going to zoom out here so you can kind of see what's going on in perspective. As I begin to drag it down like that, you can see that curve coming down in every single view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it down. I'm going to snap to my slab. Okay, just like that. No problem. Now, what I can do is I can do a couple other things, right? I'm going to show you a different way to do this. Okay, so I'm going to select this curve right here, and I'm going to copy it. C-O-P-Y. Right? I could also find it down right there. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to copy it from that point right there. And I'm going to drag it over here to another point. Now, this is a Rhino 6 thing that I'm about to teach you. But in Rhino 6, if we have our gumball on, right, I can select that object. And if I click on this little dot right here, and I start to drag, that will actually allow me to extrude a curve, which is pretty cool, right? So I'm going to delete that. I'll just hit Control Z. But watch how this happens. I'm going to go ahead and select it. And I'm going to drag this curve down. And watch, I'm going to take my mouse and I'm just going to snap to the bottom of this other column, or mullion rather. And there you go. So there are two different ways to do an extrude curve command. Now, we are going to need to do a few other things to get our mullions in. I'm going to take this curve right here that I just selected. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. Okay, and now I'm going to take it and I'm going to do a sweep 1 rail around this curve. So I'm going to type in sweep 1. Here's my rail. Here's my cross-section curve. And because I'm in the middle, we have no problem. Enter, enter. And I'll say OK. There is a problem, right? And the reason we have a problem is because this is just a single curve and these are not joined, right? Haha. So that's my bad. So I'm going to go ahead and select all of these curves. It's good for me to make mistakes though. You can see it happening in real time. All right, so I've selected all 4 of those curves. I'm going to go back over here to my join command. And now I'm going to run the sweep one rail command again. So watch this. I'm going to type in sweep 1. And here's my rail. And I'm reading the command line up here. And here is my cross-section curve here. And I'm going to hit enter and enter. And there we go. Cool. Now, I may have been a tad premature because it's going to be a little difficult for me to see things now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select that and I'm going to hide it. Now, I could also be using, you guys, an array command or an array along curve. But we're very early in our Rhino here. Oh, look, that's not even capped. I'm going to cap this. C-A-P, enter. All right, and now I'm just going to begin to copy this thing around. So I'll type in C-O-P-Y. And the reason I'm copying it is a lot of times, you guys, and I'm going to snap there, and there, and there, and there, and there. A lot of times it's just faster to copy, right? So for example, I could do a mirror command with these things, but by the time I was able to set up that mirror command, I would have already basically copied these things in place, just like that. And now I've created some mullions, right? So I'm going to go ahead and show this one. Show everything, really. Okay. And now I think it's time to bring these mullions down. I got to hide this one. I'm going to take this one and hide it for a second. I'm going to take this poly surface and lower it down. And I'm just going to bring it right there. So I've got some mullions on the bottom. I'm going to type in show again. See what's up top. And now let's go back to our perspective. See what's going on here. Looks like there's a little bit of intersection with that roof slab. Okay, so let's go ahead and type in show. And lo and behold, I have not created a roof slab yet. So I'm going to stop the video right here, and we're going to create this roof slab, and then we'll put the mullions in place. Okay, thanks very much. I'll see you in the next lesson.